There's dirt on my hands.
Welcome to Build an Iconic Life podcast. I'm your host, Chris Whitehead, and this podcast is dedicated to help you build a life with zero regrets by focusing on how you have everything you need to stand up, stand out, and live life on your terms. Let's dive right in. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Building an Iconic Life. We're here with Gabriel German today, a friend that I have known now for a couple years, and I've watched Gabriel go from being someone who knew what he wanted to do, but maybe was second guessing himself a little bit, and then all of a sudden he just turned around and gave himself 100% permission to live his life. And that's why we have him on the show today. And brother, I just want to say welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. It's actually it's a huge honor to be asked to speak on such a platform with a guy like yourself, Chris.
I appreciate you, man. So before we start, just so we can give everybody a little bit of context, tell them what you do, but more importantly, who you are, some of the struggles that you've gone through to get to where you are today.
Wow, that's a loaded question. Okay, so that's I love that question because I love who I am today, and I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm an ex-husband. I have a beautiful 8-year-old daughter, an ex-wife that I'm best friends with. I have a wife now. I have 2 beautiful stepdaughters. I can't say I'm best friends with them, but I'm very, very patient, right?
Yeah.
And I'm also a man that's turned his life around. I'm in about 4 weeks, with God's grace, I'll have 5 years sober, clean and sober. And nobody walks into recovery because they got the humanitarian award. So, I come from places and dark places and bottoms that were so unbelievable and necessary. Today, and we'll talk a little bit about that, I guess, as we go. Today, I'm a mortgage banker. I live in New Jersey. Inside of 5 years, I went from, and I don't say this to brag, I say this because it's possible, because I was that guy on the street with absolutely zero. And today, I'm a mortgage banker licensed in 17 states. I have a beautiful home, a beautiful family. I have the cars, I have the vacations, I have the friends, and even more importantly, I have the right friends. Also very, very important, because everybody's got that friend, right, that you grew up with. It's like, shit, here we go, right? And you got to stay friends with them because you've been friends with them since you guys were like 3 years old, right? But there's a big difference between the friends you align yourself with on a daily basis and you do life with, and the people that are actually really acquaintances. And in the past couple of years, actually, with a lot of your guidance, I was able to identify the difference between the two because, I'm a good guy. I don't like telling anybody, hey, dude, I love you, but I can't roll with you anymore. But at the same time, it's necessary for growth. So I'm a lot of things, Chris. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm a server who likes to give, and not take. And that's been my secret sauce for the last couple of years.
It just hit me while you were talking, man. I know you. I knew you from the moment we started talking, and it's been fun watching you step into your power. That's what becoming iconic is all about. Is I see the seeds. Are you willing to germinate them? And you did. But the question that came to mind as you were talking is, well, you talked about like literally living on the streets and then getting to a place where you self-identified alignment, like who you wanted to be around. Talk about the process when you were there, who you were aligned with, and how you started making these like you started understanding, man, this person isn't serving me, I'm not really serving them. Because I believe a lot of people in our audience, they're go-givers by nature. You and I are the same, bro. Like, I literally, the shirt off my back, I mean, here's a plane ticket home and I'll figure out how to get home, you know, it's okay. A lot of people that are listening are probably like that too, but it probably feels a little bit desperate because once they're done scooping into the bowl to give everybody else something,
Sure.
they always find that there's nothing left for them. And they probably turn or have at least been tempted to turn to some bad choices, bad habits that don't serve them. And I think because you've been there, done that, maybe you could expand upon it a little bit. How did you get to the place where you understood who to put in your inner circle?
And that's an unbelievable question. Also, double-edged sword, right? So it started with recovery. It really did. It started with recovery, and I'll share a little story. I mean, I was at the point where, like, my bottom, you know, jails, institutions, I've been there, and my bottom was walking into a supermarket one day, and I had no money. And I literally was homeless, and I had them making me sandwiches so I can go into the bathroom and eat the sandwiches. That's where I was. And eventually I got caught, and I had no one but my parents who wanted my parents didn't even want anything to do with me, but you know, I'm a good Jewish boy, so I know how to, like, you know, get right to my father's, you know, heart.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they called my father, and the look my father gave me was my bottom. It was a fucking sandwich that was my bottom. Not the 18 other things that I did was absolutely horrible. Lie, cheat, steal, and everything else I needed to do to live that kind of life. But the look on my dad's face, and I said to myself, I have two options. Recover, go to jail, or die. I don't have the balls to die. I wanted to, but I didn't have the balls to do it. I'm not built for jail. They'd eat me up in 7 seconds in there. I'm just not built for it. So I was willing to do anything and everything. I went to an institution. Now, by religion, I'm Jewish. I am a spiritual guy that believes in a higher power. I respect my religion, but I wouldn't call myself so religious. I would call myself very, very spiritual.
Yeah.
When I went away to a place that was run by the Franciscan friars of the atonement. We're talking monks. And here walks in a Jewish kid into a room, right? And my first experience with a rehabilitation facility was 180 men singing "Make Me a Channel of Your Peace." I'm a Jewish kid, dude. I walk into this place.
Wow.
What the wow, right? You know, I got to a point where I legitimately did everything they told me to do. I joined the choir. This has nothing to do with religion. This has to do with brotherhood and doing everything that they wanted me to do. If you told me, Chris, to stand on my head, I was going to make sure I stood on my head. I ended up directing a choir at Mass every Sunday, a Jewish kid doing it, okay? Because I was willing to do anything possible. While I was there, obviously, like I said, you don't get the humanitarian award for going to rehab, right? So while I was there, like in life, like everywhere else, there's the guys that are there for the right reason, the guys that are mandated, and the guys that are there for the wrong reason. And we all know what right and wrong is.
Yeah.
We all do. The choice is ours. You want to be popular or you want to be right? You want to be the cool kid or you want to save your life? Because we're not here to play. This is real life stuff. This is not the third grade. And I chose to do the unpopular things. And I did absolutely everything and anything. And when I got out, you know, there were a couple of masterminds that we were involved in together and a couple of different things that groups that I ended up joining. And again, I walked into a room with 300 guys. You were one of the guys on stage. There were a lot of other people on stage that day. And I looked around the room and I said, wow, out of 300, the one thing that stuck out to me was who are the uncool guys? First of all, I'm looking for the uncool guys. I don't want to be the popular guy. I went through that phase in high school. I don't care. And then I remember I remember till this day the words on stage, which is, are you going to be in that top 5%? We didn't know each other yet. And I was in the front row. And afterwards, everybody met in the lobby. And I tracked you down. Nobody was going to stop me from tracking you down. And I remember saying, the only thing I said to you was, I want to be in the fucking top 5%. And you gave me your phone number. And that's how I track people, not based on monetary value,
Right.
but based on value, real value. So like a lot of people make a lot of money, but they're out there cheating on their wives, right? A lot of people are cheating on their wives, but they're not making a lot of money. A lot of people are preaching one thing and doing another, right? They're talking mentorship, but are they really mentoring? They're they're talking like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm guilty of it too. We're human beings.
Amen.
I'll be the first one to tell you, I fall short on a daily basis. But as long as I know that, I try to surround myself in circles where you're either going to, I put it like this. I don't want anything from you, but if you're on my level or on a level that I strive to be like, that's what I'm targeting. I don't want anything from you. I don't want your money. I don't want favors. I don't need you to introduce me to people. I just want to hang with you. I just want to hang with you because at the end of the day, success, love, spirituality, religion, relationships, life, these habits, if you're aligned with the right people, become magnetic, right? So I remember my sweet little grandmother used to tell me, Gabe, if you hang out with crackheads, you're going to become a crackhead. Well, guess what? She wasn't too far off on that one either. So it's the same thing. You hang out with people that align to do what you want. And it's cool. Listen, if that's not your thing, if you want to run around and sleep with women and make a lot of money, there's a crowd for that too. There's a crowd for anybody. And if that's what winning and success looks like for you, then by all means, I applaud you because at the end of the day, I get to rest my head on my pillow, happy with a clear conscience. The hardest job I ever had was being a liar. You can't, you know how hard that is? Like, I know guys that run multiple businesses, have a wife here, they have to fly to work, fly home, still maintain a family, go to their kids' baseball games, make sure there's enough time for the wife and the kid. You know, all this hard work we do, there has to be a net benefit at the end of it. Otherwise, why are we doing it, right? And I know guys that are doing that, and I love, recently I've heard a lot of excuses from a lot of people, and to me, you already know the phrase, but like, when it comes to excuses, man, I can't even deal with it because, I was just telling you right before we started, I went to Italy, come home, and, I have a team of loan officers behind me, and the market went up almost 2 points, which is absolutely mind-boggling. This world has actually never seen this type of burst inside of a year. Last year, I bought a home. I was at 2.875. Today I would pay more than double for that same home. That's 2.5 houses for the same thing. So everybody's looking, and I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened. And they're looking at me like they're like, did you relapse? Like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm like, booms markets and bull markets are the worst thing for the world. The middle ground is the best thing you can ever have. So when you have a bull, you need a bear to balance it out, because at the end of the day, every mom and okay, I do mortgages, right? So every mom and pop that got a real estate and a mortgage license, because I mean, let's be honest, at 2%, deals were landing on your lap. Chris, you
Right.
do mortgages, you could have done 50 deals a month by yourself just by saying hello to people. It just lands on your lap. And then all of a sudden, now you're in this world and people don't know. So I think spring cleaning is necessary.
Yep.
But for me, more than anything else, most of the things in my life I've run away from. Today, anything that I align myself with, I stay with that thing. And because it's like I was saying, you run into a burning building. The guys running out are the superstars of tomorrow.
Yep.
The guys that don't run into the burning building and go back and do whatever it is looks hot next. The problem is these guys all come back and return, right? And when they return, now you're starting at day one again. Struggle a little for 2 years. You want to tell me you didn't struggle in your whole life? You're a liar. I'll show you exactly everyone. You know what I mean?
You know, Gabe, one of the best pieces of advice I ever heard that like immediately clicked was, when everybody else is going left, go right. And so, you know, even as the Rona started and everybody started just investing time being at home and getting handouts to do that, I was so deep in the trenches with building business that I stayed flying every single month, speaking on stages, building business. And then when that released, we increased even more. Mm-hmm. So the same thing here. I've already been through a recession in remodeling, another business that I own.
Sure.
Well, 70 or 80% of the people that went through a recession that were remodelers, they work for people like me now because they couldn't take it. But we not only took it, we withstood it. But what got us to get to the place to take it? Well, it was all the work I was doing when all of the great gains were being had. I didn't let off the gas then. I found another thing that I would hold myself accountable to, another way that I could make myself be committed to me. And that just comes from a place in life, especially as an entrepreneur. You realize that you got to go catch the food, and you can only store up so much before it starts to rot. So if I'm not keeping my act sharp and my skills proficient, I might feed for a couple years on what I killed, but when it comes time to go kill the next beast, it might kill me instead. And that's what you're talking about. And the truth is, those principles need to be shared, need to be lifted up for the entire world, because we live in a world now that says you don't have to offer value. You just have to fool people. And if you fool them, you'll be taken care of. Bro, there is no taking care of just Chris and my little unit. It's how I do anything is how I do everything. And I am on a mission to help as many people see that, people just like you, because then you will go and carry that to your team of loan officers. You'll go get on videos and do lives. You'll do 75 hard. You'll go do whatever thing is that you can do. Hell, the last week, your messages have been nothing other than a picture of some words that are uplifting, and then you writing a description ahead of that.
Yep.
Encouraging other people to just be better people. What happens when my world is filled with nothing but those messages? Not the negativity, not the doom and gloom.
It's a selfless and selfish act, and it's genius. It's pure genius. It's the give, and believe that you will get back tenfold, right?
And you do.
And you do. And
in the right season. In the right season.
The problem is we all want it on our timeline as human beings.
Sure.
We don't get to decide that. We're not God.
Right.
We don't get to decide that. God gives us exactly everything that God puts in front of us, he knows we can handle. So if he's putting something in front of you It's always going to be a lesson to be better. And guess what? If you didn't learn that lesson, you know what happens? He's going to redo that lesson. And that lesson's going, I actually put a post on this the other day on my stories on Instagram, that literally God will continue teaching you lessons until you learn that one. Then he'll go to the next one. I love to give. It's become something that's not even difficult for me. It's second nature. That's just how I live. I find that a lot of my success, Chris, professionally, has come because of my giving nature. So if I speak to an investor, if I speak to a realtor, if I speak to a CPA, anyone that can possibly refer me business, right? If anyone actually, period. My mission is to make you smile or make you 1/8% better after the conversation with me than you did before. So if I'm in a crowd of people, if I walk into a rehab, I go into rehabs once a month. And when I go into that rehab, I speak to 25 men about bettering their lives. Now, out of those 25 guys, trust me, there's nothing to smile about. I've been in those chairs. If one of them cracks a smile, even cracks a smile, I did my job. I did my job. I'm not responsible for the result. That guy can die in 2 weeks from now, but I did my job because that guy had nothing to crack a smile about, and I assisted with the crack of the smile. I sponsor guys in recovery. I'm not responsible for them, their relapse, their recovery. I just gave a guy a 4-year coin. I can't even believe I'm coining guys with 4 years. I couldn't put 4 minutes together, but I'm literally doing this, right? And what's crazy is that, he's thanking me. You saved my life. No, I didn't. You gave me the opportunity to continue to save mine.
Yeah.
And when you're on a podcast like this, it's the same exact thing. When I saw you on Facebook and, it took me 37 seconds to say I'm in. 37 seconds, because I didn't want to take anything from Chris Whitehead. I wanted to add value to Chris Whitehead, to his iconic brand, to his family, to his time. I wanted him to crack a smile. You've done it about 20 times in the last 20 minutes. I've definitely done my job there. But more importantly, I just wanted to add value, because we don't get our minutes back.
Right.
There's a couple of things in this world that we're promised. We're promised we don't get our minutes back. So value every single one. People talk about living one day at a time. Fuck that. Live one moment at a time.
Yeah.
Live one moment, and don't worry about what's going to happen tonight. Your wife and you got into a little tit for tat in the morning. You'll fix it when you get home. Concentrate on the task at hand right now. Okay? Because if you don't, you're going to bring resentment from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. You're going to go see her and you're going to be like, because of you ruined my whole goddamn. No, it's not. You ruined your day. Right. You chose to ruin your damn day. Take responsibility for your own damn self. It's a crazy world. And I see more opportunity now than ever before. I know that financially the most successful men in the world all got where they did from the downside, not the upside. The upside, everybody made money on, right? You're in the coaching space as well. You love to speak on stages, which I aspire to do myself one day. But I know that there's a popular time for it, like the last 2 years. And right now it's going to become a little bit unpopular because a lot of people have a lot less money, right?
Yep.
To turn around, get on an airplane and maybe go to Boston and have dinner and tip a guy $100. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
So, but this is the time to go do that, because this is where the elite are made. That's where I get goosebumps even talking about it. Like, this is where the superstars rise. And then 2 years from now, everybody comes out of the woodworks. They're all in an auditorium and they're like, why is that guy on stage and I'm not?
Bro, I'm telling you, you're giving me goosebumps, because when I think about my life and the people that I chose to put in it unwittingly, and now how focused I am on alignment and core values first, I imagine not just a company, but I imagine outward spheres and circles of like-minded human beings hanging out together, supporting one another. Instead of me focusing on supporting just me, what would it look like? Somebody joins our mastermind, they're struggling, and we don't worry about the money that we're paying. We worry about, as a group, how we help that individual.
Yeah, I mean,
Individual.
100%. I mean, again, it's your integrity. It's your mission to do so. You know, what most people don't understand is, yes, you have to put in the work. Okay.
Sure.
You have to do the unpopular stuff. You have to get up at 6 and go to the gym, or else the rest of your day is going to be shit. You have to like do certain things, right? But beyond doing those certain things, if you're bringing the right intent and value to each situation, right? You're an iconic. Somebody walks in and says, Chris, I'm not a business owner, but I want to be. That guy's got more balls than every single
Right.
person in that room.
Right.
Because every single person in that room is already well off, and they're not going to feel that event. But this guy's there for the right reason. And guess what? He now brought more to the table than everybody in the room, because he gets to keep it green for a guy like Chris. He keeps it green, right? So he now is the reason. Like, I feel like I'm preaching here, but he is literally the reason why Chris is better that day. That day, you go into recovery, the most important guy in the room is the guy that raised his hand and says, I got one day back.
Amen, bro.
That's the same thing for everything in life, across the board, period.
Because I was him.
Exactly.
Because I was him and I needed a lifeline. And by God's grace alone, it found me, because I was dumb as a box of rocks, dude. But inside of me, the straw broke the camel's back, and I said, all right, I'll bend a knee. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but I'll do it
Right.
now.
100%.
Please don't screw me over like everybody in life. And bro, right. I'm going to tell you something. When that comes from that place, the pathway is prepared. It's not easy, but it's prepared. And when I meet that guy or that gal, that's who my message is for anyway. Because I remember being that desperate and that alone. And for one person to say, I see you, you can do it.
Right.
Keep going. I needed that. And I want to be that for the rest of my life for other people. And you do too.
100%. And do what? Right. So now here we go. I needed that. Here's the last point that you had touched on me for the last 2 years. I don't want to be Chris Whitehead.
Right.
I want to be the best Gabe out there. Chris Whitehead has the opportunity to help me be the best Gabe. Gabe has the opportunity to help Chris be the best Chris. If you try to be Gabe or Chris, you're going to fail. And guess what? And what's the best part about being yourself? You're you. You can't mess up you. You can mess up on the way there in different steps. That's normal, because if you didn't mess up, you wouldn't need anybody and you'd be called God. But you definitely 100% have to be the best you. Don't be anybody else. I don't want anybody else's life. I want the best life I can make for Gabe and his family and his friends, and I want to make them better as them. I don't I have a daughter. She loves dancing. I don't want her to be the best dancer that she strives to look at. I want her to be the best dancer she can be, the best Brianna she can be, right? So it took a long time for me to figure that one out. I got in my early 20s, I wanted everybody to love me. I'm sorry, let me rephrase. In my early 20s, I wanted everybody to like me. I am pushing 44 years old. Today, I don't give a shit if everybody likes me. As long as the people I'm with love me.
Yeah.
The rest can go kick rocks. I'm okay with it. And I wish them nothing but the best.
Dude, it's called being a free man. And we're going to do this again. I love this fire that you're bringing. And I appreciate you. If people wanted to find you,
Yeah.
what is the easiest way for them to, get to know you, see what you're doing, reach out to you?
It's the one thing that everybody looks at 57 times a day. You're going to go right into social media. You're going to go right to Facebook. You can just type my name in, Gabriel German. You can go on Instagram. If you type in my name, you'll see motivated_mortgages. I love to motivate people and make people feel better. LinkedIn, it's just my regular name. I keep it simple. I don't need people searching for 18 things and hashtags and all this other crazy nonsense. Just look up my name and if you're struggling, I'd love to talk to you. If you're not struggling, I'd love to talk to you. I just love to talk to people and make them smile. If you're having a good day, I could make it better. If you're having a bad day, I can make it better. That's all I have to offer. No strings attached. I don't want your business. I don't want your money. I just want to make people smile.
I appreciate you, brother. And I can't wait for this episode to come out. We'll be doing this again, Gabriel. And everybody reach out to this man. He's one of the real ones. And he is the kind of guy that will take time out of his day just to have a conversation with you. Gabe, thanks for coming on the show, man. Appreciate you, brother. Take care, everybody.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand.
Hey, friend, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, please leave a review and subscribe to catch future casts. If you really enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it so others can benefit from it as well. I'll see you in the trenches.